So Donald Trump and his people want to declare everything a war zone, and then therefore they have to send in the military. I want to go over the details of this stuff, and let's jump right in. Chrissy Noem calls Chicago a war zone after federal agents shoot woman. So again, they shot someone, and then they're going to say it's all a war zone. Pritzker, he says different things. He says, this is the governor of Illinois. Pritzker says federal agents are trying to make Chicago a war zone. And so basically you have to decide who to believe here. Do you believe Noem saying that everything's a war zone? Or do you believe Pritzker that says, no, they're trying to make everything a war zone? Also says, Pritzker of Illinois said he had ordered state agencies to investigate a raid on a Chicago apartment building. And if you don't know, recently I made a video on this, but it's all over the place where basically Trump's people's ICE went into an apartment building and just arrested everyone. They used chainsaws on doors. They use helicopters, what reports have been saying. And then also you have this, nearly naked children zip tied by federal officers. I mean, this is, I'm just going through what people are saying. Like, you have federal Trump's people, right? They just shot someone. They're zip tying children. To me, it doesn't sound good. And then they're going to say, well, but they're all criminals. It's all a war zone. And then you have this. Newsom to sue Trump over sending California Guard to Oregon. So why is this happening? Because Trump got blocked by a judge in Oregon because Trump wanted to send the military to Oregon. The judge is like, you're completely untethered to the facts, Trump. We are a country of constitution, not martial law, right? But Trump wants to send the military everywhere. So he got blocked in Oregon from sending Oregon troops. And now he's trying to send California troops. And it's just the whole thing is a mess right now. And this is what it says here, right? Judge blocks Trump Oregon plan as guards ordered to Illinois. This is Gavin Newsom says, we're suing Donald Trump, okay? His deployment of California National Guard to Oregon isn't about crime. It's about power. He is using our military as political pawns to build up his ego. It's appalling. It's un-American, and it must stop. This is also Ron Wyden, senator from Oregon. Again, this is my home state. Portland's my hometown. Ron says, was there something Donald Trump was too dense to understand? And the judge, the conclusion yesterday that his, quote, determination was simply untethered to the facts. That's what the judge said. And this was actually a Trump-appointed judge. The judge said Trump is untethered to the facts. And then you got this. The person that the Trump's ICE agent shot, they're going to charge her with being part of a convoy. We've heard about this 10-car stuff. Now they're saying you're part of a convoy. And for me, when I hear these things, I just want to go through it with you guys, see what the charges are, and make sense of it, okay? Feds charge woman shot by Border Patrol on Southwest Side. The charges filed Sunday morning accused Miramar Martinez and Anthony Ian Santos Ruiz of driving vehicles in a civilian, quote, convoy that was following federal agents. And they're going to claim 10 cars. They only arrested 2 people out of this, I guess. It doesn't make sense to me, but I just do want to go over it because you want to get the facts right on this stuff, and you also want to see evidence on these things and have honest discussions with people because there's going to be a lot of gaslighting out there, which I'll show you in a moment here. But this is what's going on. Chicago woman shot by ICE after convoy rams officers. So that's a new word. They kind of keep changing the story here. Convoy is the word of the day at the moment. Border Patrol agents shoot woman accused of ramming car into ICE vehicles. So my understanding is they have her under custody because I'm the same as you guys. I want to see footage of this stuff. I want to see what she has to say, right? And then I guess she's taken by the FBI according to this. Already they have Benny Johnson. If you guys don't know, he's like a right-wing influencer person. He's sort of, well, I'll just have you listen to him.
Of libs get arrested as they attacked violently the ICE agents. Their ICE facility in Chicago is under constant paramilitary attack by left-wing terrorists. And it isn't 12 hours after I was wheels up from Chicago that one of the most dangerous attacks on an ICE facility happened right where I was. DHS says that ICE agents in Chicago were boxed in by 10 cars in what is clearly a sophisticated paramilitary operation in order to grind to a halt federal authorities in Chicago. And then the agents had to open fire on the vehicles because they were trapped. They had to go on foot. And one of the people who boxed them in had a semi-automatic weapon in their vehicle, and they had to discharge their weapons at the American citizen. This is getting exponentially out of hand.
So I agree with Benny. Benny says it's exponentially out of hand. I agree. But if you listen to his account of it, okay, so from his point of view, he just read through the Fox report. He's saying, okay, we heard that there is 10 cars boxing in the federal agents. I didn't hear anywhere that said that the person in, say that, or persons in the 10 cars were shooting at the federal agents. I didn't hear anywhere where Benny said that. According to Benny, at least, because they're boxed in by cars, you could even call it traffic. I don't know, but I'm just going with Benny. You're boxed in by cars, according to Benny. Other accounts said maybe they're getting rammed. I don't know. That's what I'm telling you. But then Benny says, then therefore you have to start shooting. And that's where I want to just be like, guys, let's just use critical thinking here on this stuff. And be honest about these conversations. I just be frank. I don't trust what Benny says. Benny's also claimed that this is some sort of paramilitary group, that kind of stuff. Let's listen to what Governor Pritzker has to say about these things.
Let me just say that the secretary doesn't know what she's talking about. She frankly says that people are clapping. They're not. They're booing her on the street, and they're booing ICE and CBP. They're marching, the CBP marching on a beautiful Sunday in Michigan Avenue in downtown Chicago. They're raiding neighborhoods where instead of going after the bad guys, they're just picking up people who are brown and black and then checking their credentials. Are you a U.S. citizen? I don't know about you, but I don't carry around papers that say I'm a U.S. citizen. So you can imagine people are getting detained. They're getting arrested, U.S. citizens. And they did this, of course, when they raided a building in the middle of the night in South Shore. 130 people that were emptied out of this building. They were going after a few gang members, and instead they broke windows, they broke down doors, they ransacked the place, and there were people that were held, elderly people and children zip-tied. Elderly people held for 3 hours at a time. They are the ones that are making it a war zone. They need to get out of Chicago. If they're not going to focus on the worst of the worst, which is what the president said they were going to do, they need to get the heck out.
So that's Governor Pritzker. And I also want to make this clear. Governor Pritzker in Illinois and then Governor, I think it's Kotek in Oregon have not requested for the military to come in. This is Trump basically saying, I'm Trump and I want to send the military because you're all dangerous, where the local people are saying, we don't want you to send people. We're okay, right? And this is where it becomes a question of which reality do you want to live in? And that's why I showed you both the Benny Johnson thing of like, hey, this is paramilitary. They're all organized, right? All the libtards, stuff like that. Now, Noam is going to claim that there are bounties out there. This is new to me. This is the first time I heard this stuff. So I'm just showing you what she's saying. This was from, I think it was the New York Post. Cartels target federal immigration agents with 10,000K bounties. That's according to Kristi Noem. Dangerous and unprecedented. So this is what she says. Let's have a listen.
Intelligence indicates that these people are organized. They're getting more and more people on their team as far as attacking officers, and they're making plans to ambush them and to kill them. We have specific officers and agents that have bounties that have been put out on their heads. It's been $2,000 to kidnap them, $10,000 to kill them. They've released their pictures. They've sent them between their networks, and it's an extremely dangerous situation and unprecedented. So we've put protective detail around those individuals, changed some of our operations to keep our officers safe. But make no mistake, this isn't just about, protesting free speech or that they don't like that people out here are upholding the law of our country. They're actually going out there and saying, kill these people and we'll give you this much money to do it.
Okay, that's according to Noam. And again, I want to go through this stuff. So it says, federal prosecutors have filed felony assault charges against a woman who was shot Saturday by U.S. Border Patrol on Southwest side, and what led to a heated confrontation between federal agents and around 100 protesters. So to talk about two couples, there's several incidents. You have the person in the car and the person they shot, and then you have the protesters, which could be protesting the apartment building. I don't know if they knew about the shooting or not. I'm just saying this is what it says. A Department of Homeland Security statement says the woman rammed her vehicle into the vehicle of federal agents, then took defensive fire positions from the agents. Okay. Defensive fire position. This is where you have to read through this stuff. The woman rammed, they say, the woman rammed her vehicle into a vehicle of federal agents, then took defensive fire from the agents, okay? The woman was treated at the hospital and was discharged into custody of the FBI, all right? Also says the charges filed Sunday morning accuse Miramar Martinez, 30, and Anthony Ian Santos Ruiz, 21, so they're young, of driving vehicles in a civilian, quote, convoy. And that's the first that I've heard them using the word convoy. That was following federal agents driving as part of security detail for a Customs and Borders Protection operation. So they're claiming that there's a convoy of, I think it's 10 civilian vehicles are following the ICE, is what they're saying. According to the 8-page criminal complaint, the civilian vehicle drove aggressively and erratically towards the federal agents' vehicles, disobeyed stop signs, red lights, and drove the wrong way down one-way streets in order to pursue the CPB vehicles. And again, I'm happy to see evidence and all of this stuff. I'm just telling you what it is, what they're saying. When the agent's vehicle got to around 39th Street and Kenzie Avenue, civilian vehicles boxed them in, according to ICE, and Martinez drove her vehicle up alongside the driver's side of one of the vehicle agents' vehicles, according to charges. That's when Martinez's vehicle sideswiped the federal vehicle, and Ruiz's vehicle, so I think we're talking two different cars here, struck the rear right end of the federal vehicle, okay? Agents then got out of the vehicle as Martinez then drove towards one of the agents. According to the charges, the agent then fired approximately 5 shots from his service weapon at the driver of the Martinez vehicle. The charges state Martinez continued driving north of Kedzie, the charges state. So I know it gets complicated when you read this stuff, but I just want to read through what the charges are and what's going on, because this is what we're all fighting over about. And then Trump's saying we have to send in the military. They're going to make the claim again that all these people are organized and this is some sort of, paramilitary thing. That's according to Benny. After shooting, Ruiz backed up his car and drove to a gas station where authorities arrested him. Okay, so they arrested one, that's Ruiz. Paramedics found Martinez at a repair shop near 35th Street and California Avenue, about a mile northwest from where the shooting happened, and she was treated at a hospital for gunshot wounds, the charges state. The charges say the pair forcibly assaulted, resisted, opposed, impeded, intimidated, and interfered with an officer of the United States. So I guess that's the charges, right? Forcibly, they're saying basically, get in the way of the ICE people, kind of how I read that. The charges do not mention anything about Martinez being found with a gun. They're not charging with that, which a separate DHS statement says, because before they said, oh, they have a gun, right? But now I guess the charges don't mention that. Martinez's father and sister declined to speak to Sun Times on Saturday. This is very, very touchy stuff. I'm sure you guys know. This was in the charges. They have like pictures of the cars. So I'll say, hey, this is evidence here. So there must be some sort of car thing that happened. This is damage to the driver's side of the CPB vehicle, damage to the front side of Martinez's vehicle, and you can see the damage. It looks like scratches to me. I don't see like major collision. I'm just showing you what it is. This is damage to the rear side passenger of the CPB vehicle. And is that the same one? I think, and this is all the same, because it could be more than one vehicle, so I don't know. I don't see license plates. Then you have damage to the front side of Ruiz's vehicle. So this is that's the damage. And so then you have to make the determination of, okay, what really happened? There's a lot going on with this. And essentially, again, Trump's going to say everywhere is a war zone, therefore we have to send the military. Local people are saying it's not a war zone, don't send the military. My honest opinion on this stuff is I'm with local people. If the local governors are saying we don't need military, you're just going to cause more, unrest, don't do it, Trump. That's not to say. And my big problem too with the ICE stuff is they're running around with masks. They don't have warrants. There's no due process on these things, and you just don't know what they're up to. I mean, that's my biggest thing. And I also want to make this clear, guys. If there's any sort of criminal activity, these kind of things, I'm totally fine with arresting people, deporting people, whatever you got to do, right? Just follow the law. And I just wish we would just have these just regular people conversations, because I think us regular people, we would just want to live in peace. If I was saying crazy, let me know. We just want to live in peace. I don't want to instigate anything. I don't want anyone fighting at all. I just want to live in peace. And I want everyone to follow the law. That includes just everyone. Just follow the law. And so that's why I literally go through this stuff and want to go through everything with you. So that's my thoughts on this. I want to hear yours, and I'll catch you on the next video.